This is Abdullah Kishmula, class CIS 220, object-oriented programming, and this is the final project assignment. For this assignment, we're supposed to put all the Enigma machines together, starting from my wheels. For example, this is the reflector, and I'm saving all my files to look like that so that I can read these characters and associate these, like the first two characters in this line together, and so on for the rest of the characters to represent my wheel. And all the classes are almost the same. It's going to read that string and separate the two characters, and then put them in dictionary and return a dictionary, which is going to represent my wheel and also the reverse of that wheel. And same goes for the other wheels. For example, wheel 2, 1, and 3. Now I'm using wheel 1, 2, and 3 as the wheel in position 1, 2, and 3. And it's just gonna get that from a different place, which is I have a wheel generator, and what it does is gonna generate all my wheels for me. For example, this is gonna build my dictionaries, and this is gonna read the list, which is the characters that I have, and this is to shuffle it, and so on. And there's also a class that will save the wheels. As we can see over here, I can just provide the number and it will save the wheel with that number. Now each one of these is a random generated wheel, so but save it. At the same time, I have a class that will keep track of the created wheels in case that when I want to delete them, it's just going to go to these numbers and it's going to delete these wheels. Also, there is input mode and other setting for the Enigma machine. And I also built an interactive menu. The other thing is also I included in it, which is error handler. It was supposed to be for the error messages, like for example, invalid input or anything like that. But then I changed it into a feedback. Yes, the name is error handler, but actually what's more appropriate is feedback, and it was too late to change the name when I did this class. For example, when I create a wheel, it's going to give a feedback that wheel created, and invalid input, no wheel created, in case I input a number that for a wheel not created. No, this one is for not inputting a number to create a wheel. And also, if I selected a wheel that does not exist when I come to placing my 3 wheels in the Enigma machine, and so on for the others. Other classes, for example, wheel menu erase message. Whenever I erase a file, is going to give me a feedback what I erased. Even though the menu has that, but it's also good to show the feedback for the user when they delete something or something like that. Now, as for the menu, it might be a little bit too big, but I had the time to build a really good menu that has a good feedback for the user. Now, to go through the classes would be just too much, might not make any sense. Because I know the code, but I do not think anyone else is going to understand the code, even if I put comments on it. Now, to run the program from here, this is the welcome menu. For now, it's fast changing. For example, one of the feedback is over here. That's going to show if there is anything, for example, invalid selection. But if I do a correct selection, then the feedback is going to go away. For example, let's see, this is the current setting. For example, I choose the encryption mode. I did not choose the input mode, whether it's keyboard or anything like that. And the position of the wheels. Of course, I do not include the reflector and the plug board. These are going to be static and cannot be changed, but I can change them by creating new ones. From this menu, for example, creating a new plug board and reflector. Now let's go to the selecting the wheel. For example, at position 1, let's say if I 7C6, I did not create a wheel like that. It's going to invalid input or wheel number not created. Whenever I'm selecting a wheel to put it in a specific position, is going to go check my wheel list to see if that wheel exists. If it doesn't exist, then it's going to give me a feedback that this wheel doesn't exist. Now let's go, for example, create a wheel, and let's say if we input anything that is not a number, it's not going to accept it. But as you can see, it always gives a feedback at this area, and I'm reserving this area for the feedbacks. Now let's say 88, and wheel 88.text created. That means I have a wheel 88. I can go and select it, let's say at position 2, and I want to put the wheel 88, and wheel 88 has been placed in position 2. And so on. There are multiple feedbacks. For example, if we go back to the start encryption decryption, well, encryption mode. Oh no, I went to the wrong selection. Number 5, there's also feedback in case anything is not selected. For example, in this case, input type is not selected. And if I have anything else that is not selected, it's going to print a new line for that thing that is not selected. Input type, let's see, for this one I'm gonna use a keyboard input because I did not put anything in the text file. So keyboard is gonna give me a feedback over here saying that it's keyboard, and if I have invalid selection, it's gonna show. So these two are separate, and it's not gonna give feedback for selecting the keyboard because we can see it over here. Now let's go back to main menu and start encryption decryption. Now it requires an input text. Let's put my name, and it tells me that my input has been saved to that file, the one I entered through the keyboard, and the output is saved to the output file. Now we can read it from here at number 6. Let's see, read the input file. This is my input file, my output file. Now if we change from encryption to decryption, this is gonna from decryption, to decryption, I should get my output. Let's see if I can copy that. Not really sure if it's getting copied. We can take it from the output file over here, and I'm gonna just put it in there. Back to main menu, number 3, and encryption decryption, let's change it to decryption, and then go back and start keyboard input. Okay, now moment of truth. Let's see my output file, and I have the output that I entered before. This is in my output file, and unfortunately it didn't save because so this is my input. I don't think it's saved. Oh, it saved somehow. I don't know how, but it did. And that will be